Hey everyone, George Caliores here, Anabolic State of Mind, formerly known as No Excuses Functional Strength and Conditioning. Just got done warming up a little bit. My legs are still super sore from Monday. That's 4 days later. That's something you don't want to happen. Basically what had happened is I did 50 total reps with 245 pounds, which is about 70% of my 1 rep max. However, because I did the 50 reps, I overtrained that percentage. Alright? If your DOMS is lasting more than 2 to 3 days, you overdid it, and keep that in mind. And sometimes it's good to overreach, but at the same time, it can bleed into the next workout, and that's when you start getting issues, because now my speed training for the deadlift is going to be all fucked up. My form's going to be fucked up because I'm sore, and I'm tight in some areas because of it. And the speed is going to be less because my muscles are sore and they're still full of all sorts of bullshit and acid and scar tissue, and the fibers themselves are torn. So do yourself a favor and train within your percentage. Don't try and just be as sore as you fucking can every goddamn time. You're a human being, you're not a machine. You will regenerate, but it also does take a lot of time for it to regenerate. Alright, that being said, today I think I'm going to do either 10 sets of 2 or 8 sets of 3 with 225 and some red bands. These red bands are worn out as fuck, so they're not really 30 pounds anymore, but they accommodate the resistance at the top, and that's all I really give a fuck about right now.
Jump around and jump up into a vertical jump or into a broad jump, whatever it may be, but any kind of depth jump variation, that you have to perform less volume because it's more taxing on the body. So, you know, I gave you general guidelines, like, oh, a lot of times I'll start with 3 sets of 3 or 4 sets of 3. I shouldn't have just kind of blindly said a set and rep scheme, because it would depend on the type of jump I was prescribing on that given day. I was thinking of box jumps in my head when I said that, but this just popped into my head that you do need to, you know, categorize them, and you don't have to get super fancy, but just think, you know, things that are reducing effective gravity, and then we have another classification where it's like gravity enhanced, where we're coming back down and landing on the ground with each and every jump. So to make that division, and then you can kind of prescribe your volume from there. And last thing, I just want to touch on this one. With regards to progressions, again, there's no be-all, end-all golden rule. You just got to use your best judgment, but increase the volume gradually. Start slow, or start low, and increase the volume slowly. So again, in general, if I started with 3 sets of 3 on a box jump, you know, I might work up to eventually have them doing 30 total jumps. Like I might work up to, you know, 10 sets of 3 instead of 3 sets of 3. But that's going to be over time. It's not overnight. And in general, I prefer multiple sets of low reps. 99% of the time, I'm going to prefer 10 sets of 3 over 3 sets of 10 when it comes to any kind of jump. Because again, why are we incorporating jump training into our programming? It's to improve our rate of force development. We're trying to improve our power. Whenever you're trying to improve power, you don't want to train in that fatigued state. You don't want to fatigue your muscles. So low reps for multiple sets is superior to
60-second rest, 4 more sets.
You just got yourself some patented Joe D approved exercises right there. You ain't gonna see those at your local Globo gym. We'll take a couple more real quick here. Let's see, we'll do 2 or 3 more. Joe, have you ever used isokinetic machines for power development? The sports facility in my town has been advertising this new isokinetic machine that they just got that's supposed to improve your vertical much faster than free weights alone. Would love to get your thoughts. this is an easy one for me. This is a quick one. I've had experience with isokinetic machines. I do not like them for improving the vertical jump. And for those who aren't aware what an isokinetic machine is, it's a machine that regardless of how hard you push or pull, the tension remains, or the speed remains constant. So no matter how hard I push, the speed is going to be the same throughout the entire repetition. And, you know, I've been talking here for the last hour plus about how important, you know, how many times have I said the word accelerate during this podcast, and that is why I do not like isokinetic machines for, you know, vertical jumping or power development in general, because isokinetic machines do the opposite of what we want. We're looking to accelerate weight, we're looking to accelerate the speed of movements, and these machines work at a constant speed. They do not allow you to accelerate. So for that reason, I don't like them for power development.
Hang on.
Any man,
I think this is the 5th round.
I don't want to bash any companies. I'm not trying to, you know, prevent anybody from making a living, but we had, like, back in the day, man, this is like 1999, we had not one of the first isokinetic machines, but one of the first models of this new isokinetic machine that had just come out, and same thing, they were making these claims, you'll never need another piece of equipment again, nothing is better for athletes for improving their explosive power and their vertical jumping ability, blah, blah, blah. We must have had 5 guys blow out their backs within the first week doing the squatting motion, because just, you know, inherently, when you're trying to push as hard as you can, you're used to the snatches. We've got a ton of videos clearing up that overhead position, you know, he talks about. So any of those where you could open that up, where you could just get your hand overhead more freely, that is going to help your vertical jump if you're getting tested on the vertex. So that's another one. If you can, open up those pecs and lats, because, you know, they're internal rotators. They're pulling your you know, everything forward and down, which isn't optimal for reaching over your head. So check those out. You can find a bunch of stuff online with you know, search Kelly Starrett, Jill Miller, both myself and Smitty have videos online. You can find a bunch of stuff at this point. All right, man, we are killing. This is like the Vertical Jump on Steroids podcast, and I still got a bunch here, but I'm going to do 2 more. We got to wrap this thing up eventually. Joe, how come there is such a large discrepancy between my box jump and vertical jump? I regularly jump onto a 48-inch box, yet I recently had my vertical jump tested, only to find out it's a disappointing 29 inches. Dude, this question is actually, this is ridiculous. Of course you're not going to be able to, what, you're, I'm getting crazy. Calm down, deep breath. You can't expect to vertical jump the same so-called height as your box jump, because remember when you said you performed the 48-inch box jump. When you say you performed the 48-inch box jump, you're not jumping 48 inches off the ground. You have to account for the fact that you're just lifting your legs up. You know, probably easily 18 to 20 inches is just you lifting your knees up to kind of to land on that box. Actually, in fact, you said you have a 48-inch box jump and a 29-inch vert. That's about right. Think about it. 19. You probably, when you performed your 48-inch box jump, basically what you did was a 29-inch vertical jump, and when you reached your max height of 29 inches, like you legitimately jump 29 inches in the air, then you pull your knees up and land your feet on the box. But, like, I'm standing up right now. Let me see something real quick, because I got a ruler right here. The chair I'm sitting on is 18 inches. So the